KTLA has learned the city of Fullerton will settle a lawsuit claiming one of their officers sexually assaulted several women, 12 women making the accusations, all against the same officer. Live now to David Begnaud in Fullerton, where he's been uncovering the details exclusively tonight. David.
First, it was Kelly Thomas and Micah. Now this. These allegations first surfaced back in 2008, and tonight you're going to hear what the city did, but more importantly, what the city did not do. It turns out two of these women, frustrated nothing was happening, filed a lawsuit, and the city asked a federal judge to just throw the suit out, but the judge came back and said, no way. And so now, only on 5 tonight, word that the city is ready to settle.
And they want to sweep this under the carpet and get rid of this in the settlement.
Court documents reveal that as far back as 2008, 12 women accused one Fullerton police officer of sexually assaulting them, alleging that Officer Albert Rincon would arrest them and then grope their breasts.
As far as a woman, it's certainly even more disturbing. As far as a mother, even more disturbing.
Sharon Quirk Silva is the one and only woman on the Fullerton City Council.
I want this fully investigated.
It was by the Fullerton Police Department, which reprimanded Officer Rincon for violating the city's pat-down policy. Initially, he was placed on administrative leave, but then they put him back on the streets, only to take him off the streets again 2 months ago, when a lawsuit was filed against the city of Fullerton. And now tonight, a federal judge, Andrew Guilford, is issuing a scathing opinion about how the city has handled the allegations against the officer. Most shocking is the city's weak reprimand of Rincon, writes the judge. He would either make sexual propositions to the woman, touch them inappropriately, or both. Male officers know when they arrest a woman, they ought to call for a female police officer, or at least have another male officer witness the arrest. But Rincon says he never did that in his career. And then he admits this. As he's walking these alleged victims to his patrol car, he would turn off the audio recorder he was wearing on his uniform. This means Rincon chose to leave no audio recording of the arrest, says Judge Guilford. And as to why, Rincon had no explanation. Ken Rosenfeld is a legal expert.
They didn't fire him. They didn't reprimand him to the degree where he would not be on the streets, where he would have access to women. They gave him minor reprimands and sent him back out on the streets where women were.
The Orange County District Attorney's Office investigated the allegations, but decided not to prosecute Officer Rincon.
In this case, there was an issue because several of the victims knew each other, and they met in advance and they discussed their stories. And some of the other victims, we had trouble corroborating their stories.
At the end of the day, though, Judge Guilford says the city put Rincon back on the streets to continue arresting women despite a pattern of sexual harassment allegations. A reasonable juror could conclude, based on the facts, the judge writes, that the city simply did not care about what its officer did to women during arrests. Tonight, Albert Rincon is on administrative leave, but he's been on leave before, and then he went back on the street, so you have to wonder, is he going to be back out on patrol again? To quote one of my sources within the city tonight, there's no way in hell that's going to happen. 5's live in Fullerton tonight. I'm David Begnaud, KTLA 5 News.
All right, David, thank you. And now to the other Fullerton police case involving the beating death of Kelly Thomas.
The officer charged with his murder was bailed out of jail early this morning by fellow cops and friends. Back to Fullerton we go. KTLA's Jim Nash live with reaction from the community there tonight. Jim.
Micah and Cher, we're back here at the Fullerton bus station at the place where Kelly Thomas was fatally beaten by police officers. This shrine remains a magnet for many supporters of the homeless man. Today, the acting police chief here in Fullerton suspended pay for the 2 officers that are charged in the case, but many here are not happy with the fact that the officer facing the most serious charge, second-degree murder, was bailed out by fellow officers.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Several dozen supporters of Kelly Thomas and his family gather for a candlelight walk through Fullerton. Their objective to keep up pressure on the city for full disclosure on Thomas's fatal beating by police here at the city bus station. Officer Manny Ramos was in jail, charged with second-degree murder in Thomas's death, being held on $1 million bail, until some of his fellow officers raised the money for his release. Some people in Fullerton don't like those officers coming to Ramos's aid.
I think what he did is terrible, but in this country you can get out on bail, and that's what they set the bail out. And you know, I'd expect some of his buddies to support him.
I don't like it. It kind of shows that they're as sick as he is. You know, because they're almost saying that, yeah, that's okay to do. Let's get this guy out of jail. He shouldn't be there.
I wasn't aware that the police officers were raising money to get him out. I didn't know that. I don't think that's right.
Even now, it seems like they're trying to show more of their force rather than try to get back into the community and show them that they're here for the community rather than here for themselves.
Most Fullerton city officials are avoiding comment on some police standing by the accused officers, Ramos and Jay Cicinelli, except for City Councilman Bruce Whitaker.
People who I've spoken with today had a pretty strong reaction to that, and their eyes get pretty wide, and they're saying, oh, that really happened. They did that. The public is very skeptical.
Officers Ramos and Cicinelli are due in court for their first hearing November 4th. Jim Nash, KTLA News 5, live in Fullerton.